Okay. I'm going to finish this effects rack and then I'm going to call this video here. 3 different echo things, modulations. There's a lot of other things inside of here. Character. I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't really need to. I just want to do the main 3 because if I want to dial in something per a sound, I'm going to do it per the sound. I'm not going to do it on the template. The next 2, I'm going to make these just really basic reverbs. So I'm going to be reverb dry, wet. And you know what? We're just going to call that reverb because that's what I already know, that it's a dry, wet. So that is going to be I'm going to have a couple different reverbs, but the first one is Valhalla. I'm just going to call it V-A-H-A-L-A. I'm going to get rid of one of the L's so it fits. V-A-H-A-L-A. That is decay, D-C. Can I put the whole word? Yes, I can. Great. So this is a VST. I'd use it a lot because I love the way it sounds. This is the mapping method that I am using for the other one, just so you can see how it works. This is mapped to here, so that is the on-off button for this plugin. So I don't want this plugin to be using any unnecessary CPU while I'm not using it. So this is going to be mapped with the minimum value of 1 and the maximum value of 0. So what that means is that when this is on, anything over 1, this turns on the plugin. Anything under, or 2 even, I don't know why. Anything under that and it's off. So this has no use right now. We're going to go back to that sample. Did I really get rid of that sample? What happened to the sample? Oh, that's mapped to something totally different. Great. I'm going to get rid of that. That is the not what I want it to be for now. So we're going to look at canceling the widener or the house. Yeah, that's it right there. Get rid of that for that one. Now this is doing absolutely nothing. Okay. So that's on off. Great. Now we want to map this to the mix or the dry wet of the Valhalla. Okay. So here's Valhalla. This is the knob we want to map. Now it's all right here as well. This controls the same thing. So I'm going to map mix button done. So now every time I move this up, the mix goes up. Sweet. And that's going to be the decay. So in the decay, that's right there. That's going to be how long the reverb lasts. So you got to put the dry wet up a little bit. Oh, see, that's mapped to something else. Again, this is why you don't use templates from other things, because this happens all the time. Wrong mapping mode. I'm going to make sure that the ping pong delay is gone. Where are we at? Just the delay. Done, done, nothing else delay. Okay. So now this is only controlling. Oh yeah, we got to turn it off too. So you can have like a super mixed reverb with a 0.20 second delay, or reverb, sorry. You can also have super long. You can have a really long decay with a slow, tiny mix. So this is how you can just dial in this effect. I'm going to put a low cut. I like to keep it around here of the reverb. You don't need lows in your reverb because it muds up the mix. So I keep that way down. The mode, that is something that I do want to map. I have not mapped this in the past because I've just fallen in love with a certain sound, but I'm going to do that on here. Reverb mode right there. So that's going to change the reverb type. Sweet. So again, map. Oh, I've run out of space. Let's see. I could probably put this like right below reverb RVB mode. And then I'll probably have one more over here. So reverb mode map to here. So now I could change the type of reverb. Let's make that in the purple vibe. We'll do that nice bluey color, maybe even more purpley. There we go. And then the last thing I want to maybe take is the pre-delay. Again, just all things that I might use, but I don't know if I will. So pre-delay is going to be right here, and a map to this. You know what? I'm going to switch these up. I'm going to put the mode in the bottom right corner. I'm just weird sometimes. So mode, boom, and this is going to be pre-delay. PDLY. And then reverb mode, Valhalla, I forgot about that. AHALA mode. And that's VHALA. Yes, sorry, not two L's. I do respect Valhalla though. So, okay, 4 different kinds of purples. Great. Those are kind of off in their own little corner there. So none of this stuff works until you turn it on. All right, so it's not on until that goes to at least 2. I'm gonna keep all the values at 0 though, just for what we're doing. Okay. I do want to just check in on the kind of plugin we have here. Pretty sure that's a VST. There is a difference between the two. But again, because I'm not using an Ableton stock reverb, I do want to make sure of that. Okay. I will check that later. So we got low pass, high pass, reverb. It's also noted that I put the low pass and high pass after the delays and reverbs because I want it to do it at the end. I don't want it to low pass the sound and then have it go into reverb. Because if I just want to like cut all the lows out, there might still be some lows inside of the reverb. So I do have a couple other things that I would probably add in here on a regular basis. We have a widener. That was the S1. And then we have a kickstart. Same deal. I think I'm just going to keep this knob exactly how it is because it works great. It's just when I want to sidechain things with a simple button. Very convenient. The widener is something that I will have to maybe use this for. I'm going to grab another utility. You know what? Another utility plugin, and we're going to go to the width. So yeah, if you can hear that, I can actually see it. I'm going to put, and this will stay on my template, a levels. Love this plugin. So this is going to be an easy indicator for the stereo field of an image or of an audio signal. We got to go to stereo field. So because this is the only thing playing, it's the only thing that it's showing in the visual. Right? So that's a simple way to add width to your sounds. Now width, simply put, is just the sound goes from the center to the outsides of the image or the stereo image. So if you're watching a movie and there's a grenade over on the left side, right? The grenade sound was panned to the left side. If you're listening to a song and the sound in the song sounds super full, like it's surrounding you, it's because it's probably got something that does this to it. So I'm going to map that as well to this one actually. Again, 1 and 0. So we want this to be off. Utility is so low CPU as well, but this one's going to be on because it kind of has to be. This one does not have to be on because not all the time, right? I don't all the time want to do wide, but I do want to make sure I can always automate that. So that now is going to be mapped. That's on. That's going to be mapped to the width and unmap. And now we have 400 or 0. That totally takes the stereo image and puts it dead in the middle. This is the regular one, and this is a stereo clip, so you can see a little bit differences between the right and the left side, possibly. Totally spread out to the sides. So I'm just going to keep that at that point right there. Only because if I don't use a widener, because I might not, it might happen 30% of the time. I don't want that to be even on. But I know if I do use the widener, I'm going to go up there. Or I can actually make it more mono. It's totally up to you. Kickstart, again, I love this thing. It's awesome. Nicky Romero. This is not really great for a drum sample, but it's awesome for any kind of sample like a synth or bass or guitar even. It just adds so much depth to the sound. I have this one dialed in for the kind of side chain that I like, but, and this is the next level here, is I'm going to actually make another one. Same deal. Again, we don't want this to be on at all. So I'm going to call this Kickstart A. We're going to call it A, and this is going to be Kickstart B. Kind of an off color from that one. Okay, great. That is going to now do the same thing with the 1 and the 0. So every time I hit this, boom, it turns it on, as you can see. And that's that one's off now, and that's, yeah, that's still mapped to that same one. So I'm just going to delete that one. This mix to here, so we want it 0 to 100, but then the shape I'm going to change to this one. So it's a quicker duck time as opposed to this one, which is longer. So this, again, is very helpful for a quick sidechain. I don't want to sit there and fiddle with a compressor for 20 minutes just to get a sidechain, because it happens. I just want to pull a knob up. So it's just two different kinds of sidechaining, slightly different in their attack, release, and point. Okay. The Haas effect. Pretty sweet, right? That's literally what it is. This is a popular effect in a lot of different kinds of electronic music. And all it's doing is it's adding a very small micro delay to each left side, and then the right side is just panned. So it's just solid, right? That's just an on and off thing. So I just want this to be mapped there, and we're just going to call it HAUS, not J. Make this like white, WHITE. Done. I don't need to see any of that because I know what it does. 2 macro spots left. Okay, so I really want to add another delay here because I do like to have a few. And we have an echo, so I'm going to pull in a classic delay. And we're going to put that in the same part of the chain as the other delay. So again, mapping this to device on. And that is going to be 1 and 0, as all the other plugins are. And why can't I find it on here? We have, oh, it's on the top, that's why. 1, 0. And this is also going to be the dry wet. So this is, I'm just going to say DLY this time. Okay. And then the feedback is going to be another map. So DLY FDBK. This is great for like the end of a sample that you just want it to fade out, but you don't want it to be too abrupt, like right here. Okay. Notice the feedback only goes up to 95. That's why I love echo, because it goes past. This one goes to 11. It actually goes to 150. This one only goes to 95. So I am making sure that I want to have one more knob mapped to this sync button. And I'm out. I'm at 16. Now I could get rid of one of these things, obviously, but I don't really want to. So I'm going to double map this one. This is very risky business. I don't feel like I'm ever going to use both delays. I just don't think. So now this, I'm just going to call this echo now / DLY, because it's both. Look at that, it fit perfect. So that's at repitch. I don't want to repitch. Oh, I want to jump. Yeah, it's cool. It's like a different kind of way it changes. Maybe a ping pong even. And then that. Cool. So this color, I'm going to make this like a, maybe not that, make a darker color. Okay. Great. This did change the name or the value slider of this knob, which is not a huge deal, but it does what I need it to do, and I know what it's doing, so it's all good. Turn that off, turn that down. Okay, so again, I'm probably not going to use both these delays at the same time, and that's why I can use this one knob with both of them. Now, if I do, I'm going to run into problems, and that's for me to figure out. Everything's set at the default value, which is good because all this stuff is off. Nothing is on except this one utility, because you can't really map a 1 and a 0. I mean, it actually is mapped, funny enough, but it's not really doing anything. I could put it at these odd values here, but if I do that, then it will turn off if I go below a certain value. And again, I don't want it to do that. So I'm just going to not have a mapping for the on-off of that one, because it doesn't actually matter too much for the CPU of this project. It's a very low latency plugin. Let me just pop a bunch of effects on and see how this thing handles. That's cool, right? So that is my effects rack. We're going to pop all these values back down to 0. Now there is also a way to do this automated. You can create a snapshot. So this is essentially my snapshot of, we're just going to call this back to 0. That's a snapshot of this. Oh, that's on. Okay. See that? Just that one little 0.8. I gotta make a new one. Back to 0. Okay, so for instance, like if I wanted to make another variation with, let's just say, the delay this is just an example. Let's just say whatever that delay was. I think that was what, eighth? No, 1/3. 1/3 fly. That's funny. So that just gives me a preset, essentially, of, oh, I didn't take the snapshot. Oopsies. Snapshot. So back to that, and now back to that. This is cool. I could add to this at my leisure, and it's not taking up any additional processing power. It's just a really quick way to add something like, oh, cool, I know I want a 3rd delay. That's it. And it just puts all that stuff exactly where you want it. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I just want to have back to 0 in there in case I just want to reset things. I can also have one for like a wide, but again, I could just do that. It's not a huge deal for me to have to go in here. I would rather just do it personally on this rack. I'm just going to call it the Momentology FX Rack 2022 because I have not done any new ones of this year. So now we're going to save this in my devices, and I'm going to put that in the Audio Effects Rack group that I have, and it's now showing up right there. I'm going to delete the old one, or not delete, but just get it out of the favorites. I like having old stuff chilling. That could stay on. It's relatively low CPU because it's only doing this utility gain at the moment. And these, I think I have that already in here as T71922 main chain. Yep, boom. That's a stupid name. I'm gonna call it Momentology main chain 2022. Just for posterity, if that makes sense here. It's probably not the right word. And then we're going to get rid of that one. So main chain, right, and I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. Now I'm going to also make an instance of this with both. So I'm going to keep everything in here, and now this one thing turns on, boop, everything. So that is going to be Momentology all rack 2022. So again, making that little turquoise color, seafoam green even. So now these three right here, Momentology all rack 22, FX rack 22, main chain 2022, those are essentially the three that I'm going to use on all the rest of these tracks. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm really glad I got to today because this has been bugging me for quite some time. The final step here is taking this, or from here rather, and putting it on each one of these tracks because again, I want to have really complete creative control over this, and I don't want to feel like I am stifled in any way. And I also don't want to waste time dragging delays and stuff just into tracks when I don't need to. So I'm kind of redoing what I just did. It's fine. It happens. But now this is going to be on here. And I'm not going to put it on the groups. I could, and I will put some stuff on the groups, but for now, oh, that wasn't good. I just deleted the whole thing. For now, I'm just going to pop it at the end of the track rack there. Great. And I think I can just drag and replace that. Fantastic. Drag and replace that. Great. And again, this is just for the drums. So you can see how long this took just to make the rack and the drum presets. Now, I do this, I take a few hours every year and redo this because I refine my skills, my production, and the things that I want to do in a song. It changes based on the year or the month even. So this is like my current iteration of what effects that I would use on a regular basis. And I hope that you got a lot of benefit from it. I hope that this inspires your creativity in your own Ableton pursuit, in your own drum racks and templates. And I will be coming out with another part of this video to explain the bass, to explain the synths, the samples, the vocals, the groups. This is just the group beats. So I look forward to recording that and sharing that with you all. All right. Till next time.